Judson, what really stood out to me, man, was just your size. Being 6'3", being a D-end, coaches are looking for that stuff. Okay, so that's really going to play a big favor for you. All right, so that's one thing that's really big. Now, my suggestions for your highlight video are the following. Okay, information slide at the beginning. All right, now we have some information on there. All right, we need to add some more. Okay, and the other thing I would say is having only one. You don't need to have three different ones with the same information set. Okay, so how you have it set up though, having your information on one side and your picture of you on the other, that's perfect. Okay, if you've made this through Canva, that's great. That's what we usually tell guys because it's free and it's easy. All right, but all the information you need on there is your name, school, graduation year, position, height and weight, X account, email, and phone number. Okay, I know you got your height and school and stuff like that, but we want to have that other contact information on there because that way when a coach pulls up your film, okay, boom, he pulls it up. There's all the information he needs right there for you. Okay, how he can follow you on X, how he can send you a questionnaire via email, how he can get contact with you via phone number. Okay, that stuff's very important for them because a college coach's time is very short and valuable, and they're watching 60 to 100 kids in a day. All right, when they when they don't have the time to go try to find that information on a kid they like, personally, you have to pass on the kid. And I've had to do that, okay? I can't find the information. I'm running out of time. I got to get to my next kid. I can't spend a lot of time on it, okay? So that's where just making this easier for them just because of their short time constraints and stuff like that makes it easier and more helpful to them, okay? Next, removing play/non-highlights, all right? I've got some of these time-stamped here, okay? Some of them, like at the 16-second mark, this is just an example, okay? It would, and I don't know if you're able to take this out or not just because of the film, but there was like one at the 112 and another one somewhere else. Like it would be zoomed in and then zoom out right at the last second, right when the ball snapped, and you kind of lose where you're at, okay? So if that's the case, I would do your spot shadow like you've got here once it zooms out so the coach doesn't lose you, okay? So that would really help out in that side of it. Now, go into an example on these plays, okay? And these removable plays are not anything that doesn't showcase your strength or transfer to the next level as much, okay? That's what we're really trying to do and help move that needle, all right? That's what we're really aiming for. So on these other ones, they're not bad plays. Do not get me wrong, first and foremost. These are just ones I'm kind of looking, okay, what would the coach maybe be thinking here, all right? At the 205 mark here, okay, is your gang tackle, and you kind of can't really see what you're doing to this point because you kind of just jump on the pile, okay? And we'd rather have stuff, excuse me, where it's going to be you more individualized, just being able to show that stuff, okay? Like there's another one, I think it's right after this clip, where you're kind of in on gang tackle, but you can see you've got one leg. Like you were one of the initial ones to really make the tackle, okay? So that's a little bit different, all right? And then there's another one way downfield, and then the one at the 248 mark, you as a defense, you guys just weren't set, okay? So, and they don't want to see you guys being late, so just take that off because they want a good, complete football play, all right? So remove those plays. Excuse me. Next, remove sound, the music and background sound, okay? And we want to do that because we don't want to have anything that's going to distract that college recruiter from evaluating your film, okay? Just like you, when you're playing, you're locked in and you're in a zone, all right? It's the same thing when they're watching this film. Like I said, they're watching 60 to 100 kids, okay? They listen to music, dark room, lamp on, and they're just in a zone. And sometimes when like we have captions pop up or music or background sound, it kind of throws them out of that zone for a quick second. And we don't want to do anything to teeter them from getting out of that zone, maybe evaluating you differently than they evaluate somebody else because of that distraction, okay? That's what we're really trying to do. So make sure we take that stuff out. Next, go into the sequence of plays, how the film is going to flow. That's what we're really looking at, okay? So we'll have our information slide, and then we'll go to any, and this can be for future stuff too, okay? Turnovers, all right, start off with those, forced fumbles, fumble recoveries. Then we'll go with sacks, all right? TFLs, so anything at the line of scrimmage or behind the line of scrimmage, and then the remaining defensive highlights, okay? And this is more anything that's not necessarily a statistical side of this, like this side, but still a good play that showcases what you can do, okay? And I've got a couple examples on here. Now, with what I've done here is I have put the top clips I believe you should start out each section with. So for your TFLs, I'd start out with these three, and then your remaining defensive highlights, I'd start out with these three, okay? And then when I say start out, because we want to have our best plays first and then taper from there, okay? And when you're out of TFL clips, boom, go to the remaining defensive highlight clips, all right? That's what we're kind of looking at. So to go over these at the 20-second mark here, all right? Back up just a sec here, boom, okay? So great job, boom, read and react, not squeezing too hard, be able to take the quarterback there for that TFL there. That's a great one to start out with, okay? You've got it there as your first one, leave it as your first one, okay? Next, going to the 41-second mark, all right? This is the one right here, okay? Again, great job, boom, being able to show off, come up off that block, because they want to see how do you get off blocks, okay? Do you get pushed back? Do you get drove 5 yards downfield and then make the tackle? Okay, that's the stuff they're looking for. So boom, be right there, right at the line of scrimmage. That's good stuff. Okay, then the 53-second mark. All right, so actually the play coming up right after this one right here. Okay, same thing. Boom, squeezing. Great job, showing the physicality right there. That's the stuff they're looking for. They want to see how physical, how violent you're going to be. Okay, they look at a bunch of different details as a D lineman. Okay, as all players, but that's the kind of stuff they're looking for. So put those ones first. Okay, now backing up to the 29-second mark. Okay, is the remaining defensive highlight. All right. This is one I'd start out with here, okay? So, boom, we kind of get sealed down, but we get off that block and we make the tackle 3 yards downfield or so. That's kind of the difference between that and the TFL. Okay, kind of the same deal. If we got to chase something down or something like that, and then go to the 143 mark here. All right, this is the one I do secondly. Okay, and on here, kind of the same premise like we're talking about. Boom, block destruction, be able to read and react. Okay, looking with their eyes, we're not getting anywhere. Look with their eyes, boom, shock it, make the tackle 3-4 yards downfield. Okay, it's things you see on Sundays. All right, but that's things they're going to look for. We're not getting driven back, but we're locked. Okay, we're seeing it. Boom, we get off, make a tackle. Okay, so that's the type of stuff we want to put in the remaining defensive highlights. All right. With that being said, change up that information slide. Okay. You don't need to add any more at the end. Okay. You can maybe add one, but you don't need all of them. So just remember, need one at the beginning, add that information, only one at the end. And then remove those plays we talked about, remove the sound and music, change up the sequence, and overall, this is providing more dynamic highlight video for college coaches. Now, after going over the game film feedback, let's take a look at what divisions you should target. Okay. I'm basing this off the most recent highlight video, which is exactly what college coaches are going to do and where the athlete can receive a scholarship right now. Okay, and the deal is this is kind of based on a few criteria. First thing is a graduation year. Your time's up right now. Okay, you know what we need. We're going to figure out what we need to do for prospect camps, how we need to, what we can improve upon, and what we need to do to make sure we're setting ourselves up best. Okay, next they're going to look at your size, your foot speed, your flexibility, and your power and strength. Okay, now I also want you to understand that this is a current evaluation opposed to a projected evaluation. Okay, understand that a little bit. All right, so that's how we're taking it from my standpoint. But the levels you should look at today for a scholarship are D3 and NAIA. Okay. Now you should start getting interest and offers from these college coaches at these levels. And if not, you need to start the communication process with these coaches through emailing and calling them right away. Okay. This is that now is your time. You got to start doing that now. Okay. You make sure you're getting your name out. Make sure you are marketing and branding yourself in the correct way. Okay. But then you also need to make sure you're getting your name out through social media, following these coaches on X and DMing these coaches. Okay. That communication process, that's part of it too. You got to get that out there. Okay. Now we got prospect camps coming up. It's this time. Okay. When you attend these camps, all right, you need to make sure you're going to the right ones. And when I say that, don't necessarily go to these mega camps, okay? Because there's 1,000 different kids there, and it's very hard to really get a true evaluation on a kid from a college coach perspective because there's so many kids there, okay? That makes a big difference, all right? So make sure we're sending these coaches our film, okay? Then if they like our film or not, that kind of gives us a good indication of, hey, if they like our film, let's go to their camp, put our money towards those, okay? Because it's going to be able to introduce yourself to that coach, okay? You can develop a relationship better. All right, and so that's where if they respond to you, some of these smaller group schools or one-on-one camps, or smaller grouped camps, okay, like where there's maybe a few schools or something, or a one-on-one camp, that's where that stuff's really going to come into play. Okay, you can introduce yourself to that coach, you can develop a relationship, they can see you in drills, run your 40, how you do agility stuff, and all that stuff. And here's the deal: they're going to remember that. And they're going to, when you send them that mid-season highlight, because of that relationship you've built with them a little bit, they're going to know who they're watching, okay? But here's the deal. How can we also go attack these levels and get better, okay? My suggestions to improve your game that translates to college football and possibly a higher division are the following. The first thing is strength and power, okay? Hitting the weight room and adding some strength training, adding good weight to your frame because you've got to be able to explode out of that stance, okay? Showcase that functional strength and power on film, doing a bull rush, pass rush, okay? They're going to look for that stuff, all right? Flexibility, pre- and post-training stretching, okay? If you guys don't do this as a team, you need to be doing it as your own, okay? That's part of that individual work, because this stretching is going to help improve your pad level against the run or the pass, but it's also going to help prevent injury, because your best ability is your availability. If you're dinged up and nicked up this coming year, all right, that's going to hurt your chance of video, which will then hurt your chance of an offer. You turn that around on the college side, you're dinged up and nicked up, that's going to hurt your chance on the depth chart, okay? So you got to make sure you're taking care of your body. Foot speed, dot drills, ladder drills, okay? Got to work on being the fastest and the first off the snap, okay? Because those precious little seconds make a huge difference, all right? Got to beat that O-line with that first step. It's going to provide that huge advantage for you, okay? Continuing D-line technique development, showcasing block destruction. We've talked about that. Be able to shed one-on-one blocks. Here's the question they're going to ask: how do you stop a double team? Okay, show that on film. Okay, next, your stance, your footwork, your hand accuracy. That's all stuff they look at. The ability to reset the line of scrimmage. Okay, coaches are going to look at: are you resetting the line of scrimmage downfield? Are you getting pushed downfield? Or are you in the backfield? Okay, but here's the deal too. These little details are what you're going to work on all the time in college drills. Okay, so you have a good development of them. So when it comes time, that's going to help you out where your development's at in the depth chart and everything else when you get to the college level. Okay, but these improvements are what a D-line coach will look at. Okay, so double down, do all these things, hit it hard. If it translates to your video, this can help you level up your evaluation and possibly have an opportunity at that lower to mid D2 level. But Judson, at the end of the day, man, everything's really going to come down to your individual work, your outreach, as well as your marketing on social media. It's going to be huge for you. Okay, and that relationship building with college coaches, which is going to be big for you also. Which is why the next step is your athlete interview. We're going to get an interview with the coach and get coached on communication and your interviewing skills, which is critical for the conversations you're about to start having with college coaches. So make sure you watch the video beforehand, ready to go. If you have any questions, we'll be able to answer them at the end of the interview. Thank you.